I can't start my business app because I do not know how to code. I can't afford to hire someone to help me grow my business. I can't find anyone locally with the skills I need to grow my business. International virtual assistants as low as $3 an hour, professional writers, designers, programmers, and more. Access to global talent. That's the power of UpWork. Hi, now I'm going to walk you through an example of setting up your first job on UpWork. So, just to give a little bit of insight, the first job I ever posted was in 2018. I was basically looking for a coder to help me stop having to convert property data to phone numbers through white pages. Originally, I was doing this one by one, taking each phone number and adding it into an Excel database. But as the time progressed, I realized the best way to get this done was through what's called an API, which is simply a system. Instead of inputting things one by one, it could process thousands within a short amount of time as a computer talking language without diving too deep. So this was the first job. So if you're interested in creating your first job through UpWork, you first create an account and then you hit post a job. Next step, you choose your time duration. Most of the times I go short term or part time. Then you title your work. So I'll use the example of the first job I created. And it's just a way to give a little bit of insight to potential hirees to see if they would be more so interested, or hirers. So place this title in, and most of the time it also gives job categories. So it puts in data extraction, which works. Hit next. Then you put down which skills you think would be popular for the particular job. For this job, data scraping could be a potentially good factor, but the one thing I'm going to put down is API integration. So we could put this here. It also says it's best to add some additional skills. So let's just kind of click API again and see what else comes up. So we have development, our data scraping, and then the last piece we'll put is Python, which is a coding language. All right. It also gives you popular skills. We could look at some deliverables, see if anything else works out. These two could be potential factors, but we'll just kind of continue to the scope. So this is a pretty small, straightforward project. It should be done in less than a month. And we're looking for someone who would be an expert. Next is location. I like to do worldwide because it gives you access to a global pool in which you could usually find great workers for a much more affordable price due to cost of living. So do worldwide for this. Hourly rate, you could set a particular rate. Sometimes it gives you a range in which most people typically tend to work for that job, or you could set a project budget. But let's just do an hourly rate between the range that's been mentioned. Now let's go to review job post. And this is where you could add in a description as well as attach a file with everything else that we kind of preliminarily filled out. So going back to this first job I created, basically I was pretty clear on saying I'm seeking someone with API integration skills, letting them know my problem, that I've been kind of doing this one by one, that it's inefficient, and I'm looking for someone who could integrate an API to be able to do this at a much larger scale. Then incorporate the goals, that looking for someone who could convert Excel property data and run calls against the API for it to be captured and stored in an easy Excel document. And made a less than a month, expert, time to be determined. And I attached Excel file just kind of so they could see the data that would be inputted and how I wanted it to be outputted. And I was able to get this particular job done for $60, which truthfully is a great price. You'll see when you put out your first UpWork job, you get a range of bids. Some people might try to charge you, let's just say $150 to $200. If you try to use someone locally, it could be a higher number, but for me in particular, I was able to get this guy because during the time period, he was a college student. So he was much more affordable talent than if I would have tried to go with someone who could have been potentially more tenured. So basically, you add your description and try to make your problem clear, your solutions clear. Attach your file, and then let's continue down here. You could create screening questions. I usually don't, because everyone bidding for your job is required to create a cover letter. So it gives you the ability to just get a gauge of their skill sets before they're even interested, before you're interested in even moving forward with them. But it gives some suggested questions. It gives some advanced features as well, but most of the times I could skip over these, and you could dive deeper as you get more comfortable with UpWork. But once you add in your description, you're then able to post your job. And I'm going to hold off here because, again, this was a older project that I created some time ago. Just a few tips so that you kind of keep yourself out of trouble. Be wary of people without track records that bid for your jobs. I'll scroll down and use an example of, we have $5 an hour, which might look great for a first preliminary job for a virtual assistant. When you say zero earn, that means that they have no track record on the platform, so it's very easily for them to particularly scam you, and there's no necessary remedy or way that you could try to get the funds back, or even necessarily kind of leave them a bad review. The best people, especially for starters, let's just look at top rated or rising talent, would be someone with a significant track record. So we have 100% job success. Let's click in a little bit further. And then you look through their previous work experience through UpWork, the type of jobs that they've done, and make sure that it matches. So this particular person, we can see they serviced a lot of hours through UpWork. We can see that their education here, particular work they might be associated with, that they have verifications. And this just gives you a pretty good gauge of reviews. This person has a track record in UpWork, so they'll be much less likely to mess up their track record and do something that might hurt them for future work. Whereas the person down here with zero potential jobs done might steal your funds and create a brand new profile account. So that's kind of first thing first. Second piece I'll say is really start small. Everyone would love to put out a job for a full stack developer to create an entire app of your likings, but more likely than none, they're most likely going to try to charge you 10, 30, 50,000 or even more for your particular app idea to get it done. And you just don't want to be in that situation of you put a project too large. If you haven't managed labor or just employees before, this could be particularly difficult for you. So I'll just say break it up into smaller pieces. If you want someone specifically that's just a great designer of websites, create a specific job posting for that. Or if you want someone who's great with backend, that they might just be technical on the backend side, create a job post for that. If you know the particular programming language you're looking for, create a job post for that. And it could help you be able to just put together the pieces in a more cost affordable way than specifically trying to target one agency to do everything. And it reduces your risk because you're able to create milestones. So you're not coming up with 50, 100,000 up front. You could break it up into increments of 500. You can manage your workflow to make sure things are being done on time and to your liking. So that's number 2. Start small and just get familiar with the platform, get used to hiring people, and then you can scale up from there. And really more so last piece is when you bid out a job on Upwork, you really should read all of the cover letters that you receive. Because a lot of times I realize is I've created jobs for certain problems, and in the process of receiving cover letters, someone actually might give you the answer to your question, or they could put you in the right direction and help you along that process. So if you're putting out a job, you get 20 to 30 offers, just read through everyone, and it's going to help you too just make better decisions on who you're hiring instead of just talking to the first person who bids for your job. Wait till you have 10. give it a day so that you can be able to thoroughly read through everyone, look at their track record, their historic work, make sure it matches, and make sure they seem as if they're a really good candidate, so that your experience with Upwork is seamless and you're able to get the work you need to get done. So that's all I have. Hopefully this was helpful. Thank you for your time.